आज जब इंफॉर्मेशन एज से हम स्पेस एज की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं, तब इस एफिशिएंसी की ब्रांड वैल्यू को हमें और सशक्त करना है। स्पेस एक्सप्लोरेशन की प्रोसेस हो या फिर स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी की एप्लीकेशन, एफिशिएंसी और अफोर्डेबिलिटी को हमें निरंतर प्रमोट करना है। अपनी ताकत से जब हम आगे बढ़ेंगे तो ग्लोबल स्पेस सेक्टर में हमारी हिस्सेदारी का बढ़ना तय है। अब हमें स्पेस कंपोनेंट्स के सप्लायर से आगे बढ़कर एंड टू एंड स्पेस सिस्टम की सप्लाई चेन का हिस्सा बनना है।
3, 2, 1, 0.
On the 11th of October, India's space sector got a shot in the arm. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Indian Space Association, an industry body consisting of various stakeholders in the Indian space domain. The public-private partnership is expected to breach new frontiers, making India a global leader in commercial space-based excursions. ISPA's founding members include OneWeb, Bharti Airtel, Map My India, Walchand Nagar Industries, and Anant Technology Limited, among others. They will participate and work with the Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, and others on the issue of policy around space technology and domain. Echoing the Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, ISPA will focus on capacity building and space economic hubs and incubators in India. Prime Minister Modi also highlighted the 4 pillars of space technology that will be instrumental for India.
प्राइवेट सेक्टर को इनोवेशन की आजादी, दूसरा सरकार की एनेबलर के रूप में भूमिका, तीसरा भविष्य के लिए युवाओं को तैयार करना और चौथा स्पेस सेक्टर को सामान्य मानवी की प्रगति के संसाधन के रूप में देखना। इन चारों पिलर्स की बुनियाद अपने आप में असाधारण संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलती है।
This step comes at a very crucial stage in the global space race. This year witnessed private sector companies such as Elon Musk's SpaceX, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic, and Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin taking the lead in spaceflight, promising to start tourist flights to space. With this latest initiative, ISRO will also see more participation of private companies in different roles. At the virtual event, the Indian Prime Minister directed ISRO to open up its launch facilities for the private sector and said that the role of the government will be more of an enabler and aggregator instead of an organization on its own. It is interesting to note that Jeff Bezos' Amazon and Elon Musk's satellite internet venture Starlink have also held separate consultations with the Indian Telecom Ministry, as well as the Department of Space, for starting satellite-based internet services in India and may apply for a license soon. There is little doubt that India has the potential to be the next space hub of the world. Over the years, it has taken several strides in the space race.
Let's take a look back at how India's quest to conquer space began more than 6 decades ago. The journey of the Indian space program began here, in the sleepy, palm-fringed village of Tumba, in the outskirts of Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. The Church of Mary Magdalene caught the interest of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, the father of India's space program. It was located on the Earth's magnetic equator, an imaginary line where the equatorial electrojet exists. This motivated Sarabhai to embark on a space mission. Soon, the church was converted into a space center. The country's first sounding rocket was launched from this location. In order to be brought to the launch pad, parts of the NASA-made rocket Nike Apache had to be transported to the launch pad on bicycles. It speaks volume of the sheer determination of all those scientists who were involved in the launch, including Dr. Sarabhai, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and Homi J. Bhabha, father of India's nuclear program. They had limited resources, but they had a dream, and they aimed high. In the early 1960s, the space race between the two Cold War adversaries, the United States and Soviet Union, was heating up. The Soviet Union had inaugurated the space age with its launch of Sputnik, the world's first artificial satellite, on October 4, 1957. Space was now being seen as the future of humanity. Not wanting to fall behind, India too decided to enter the space race. Sarabhai decided to write a letter to then Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to start a space program, the Indian National Committee for Space Research, INCOSPAR, was established in 1962. But India's first rocket launch did not gain the global media attention it deserved due to the assassination of then US President John F. Kennedy, which happened the following day. 6 years later, on India's 22nd Independence Day, the Indian Space Research Organization was formed out of INCOSPAR. The Thumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station was renamed in honor of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. Today, the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center is the lead center of ISRO, responsible for the design and development of launch vehicle technology. Another defining image is this one. ISRO wanted to launch an experimental communication satellite named Apple. But the satellite antenna had to be tested under a thermal blanket, and ISRO did not have the facility to do that at the time. Apple was then put on a bullock cart to provide a non-magnetic atmosphere and test the antennas in a field. Apple was successfully launched in June 1981. A turning point for India in its quest to conquer space came in 1984.
ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है आपको?
मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ सारे जहां से अच्छा.
These words touched the heart of every Indian. A former Indian Air Force test pilot, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, became the first Indian citizen to go into space. He spent 7 days, 21 hours in space as a part of a joint program by ISRO and the Soviet Interkosmos Space Agency. To this day, Sharma remains the only Indian citizen to have gone into space. Although 3 Indian origin women have flown into space for different missions. Born in Karnal in the northern Indian state of Haryana, Kalpana Chawla was the first woman of Indian origin to go to space. She first flew on Space Shuttle Columbia in 1997 as a mission specialist.
We have booster ignition and liftoff of Space Shuttle Columbia with a multitude of national and international space research experience.
Roger, roll.
Unfortunately, her second flight on STS-107 in 2003 was her final journey. Chawla was one of the 7 crew members who died when the spacecraft disintegrated during its re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. A household name in India, she was posthumously awarded the Congressional Space Medal of Honor in the United States. Sinita Williams became the second American astronaut of Indian heritage to go into space. A United States Navy officer, at one point she held the record for most spacewalks by a woman.
You can follow me if you want. Over here. Look outside as much as you can.
This year, aeronautical engineer Sirisha Bandla became the third Indian origin woman to fly into space. She joined British billionaire Richard Branson on Virgin Galactic's first fully crewed suborbital test flight in September. India is now set to foray into independent human space exploration with the Gaganyaan mission. 2 uncrewed flights are planned to test the end-to-end capacity for the manned mission. The formal announcement of the Gaganyaan program was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his Independence Day address in 2018. The crew will travel to low Earth orbit for a week using homegrown technology. Being developed by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, the module will be the first indigenous spacecraft to take Indian astronauts into space. The 10,000 crore or dollar ambitious project will propel India to the midst of the space race. The country has already proven its mettle by reaching the Moon and Mars with extremely cost-efficient missions. Mangalyaan, India's Mars Orbiter mission spacecraft, has completed 7 Earth years in its orbit in 2021. It was launched on the 5th of November 2013. Nearly a year later, on September 24, 2014, when the Mangalyaan space probe entered the Mars orbit, India became the first nation in the world to achieve the feat in the first attempt. With this mission, ISRO became the 4th space agency to reach the Red Planet, after Russia's Roscosmos, United States NASA, and the European Space Agency. What sets Mangalyaan apart from other Mars missions conducted by these global space agencies is how cost-effective it is. The total cost of the mission was approximately 450 crore Indian rupees, or 73 million US dollars. This cost is less than what Hollywood spent in the making of the movie Gravity. It had a budget of $100 million. Even the movie Martian cost more than the Mangalyaan.
That at some point, everything's gonna go south on you.
Ready?
And you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end.
Commander, Mark.
Mangalyaan captured the imaginations of ordinary Indians, and years later, it inspired the Bollywood movie Mission Mangal.
touched the moon for the first time in November 2008, when the moon impact probe on board the Chandrayaan-1 orbiter separated from it at a height of 100 kilometers and struck the lunar South Pole. The lunar South Pole is believed to harbor answers to some of the biggest questions, including how the moon was formed in the first place and how other worlds in the solar system evolved. The Chandrayaan-1 mission made several discoveries. Perhaps its most historic finding was getting evidence of the presence of water on the moon. Then, in 2019, India was ready with its second lunar exploration mission, Chandrayaan-2. It comprised an orbiter, lander named Vikram, and rover named Pragyan, all of which were developed in India. The main scientific objective was to explore the unexplored south polar region of the moon and to map and study the variations in lunar surface composition, as well as the location and abundance of lunar water. However, on the 6th of September 2019, the lander crashed when it deviated from its intended trajectory while attempting to land on the surface of the moon. A successful soft landing would have made India the fourth country after the erstwhile Soviet Union, the United States, and China to achieve the feat.
Millions of Indians watched with dismay as communication from Vikram lander to ground stations was lost when it was at an altitude of 2.1 kilometers above the lunar surface.
According to a failure analysis report submitted to ISRO, the crash was caused by a software glitch. But scientists believe that the ambitious mission cannot be dismissed as a failure, though it is a setback. ISRO will reattempt a landing in 2022 with Chandrayaan-3. The same year, another mission from ISRO created world headlines: Mission Shakti.
It was conducted on the 27th of March 2019 from the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island Launch Complex in the state of Odisha. With this mission, India joined an exclusive group of spacefaring nations, such as the United States, Russia, and China. India scripted history as it became one of the few countries to demonstrate anti-satellite capabilities. In 2017, Tesla founder Elon Musk called ISRO awesome in a tweet. The reason? The space organization created a record by launching 104 satellites into orbit aboard the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, PSLV. This was a new record for the most satellites launched simultaneously on one rocket, crushing the previous record of 37 satellites sent into orbit by a Russian rocket. The Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle blasted off from India's Satish Dhawan Space Center with 3 satellites from India and 101 smaller nano-foreign satellites. India accomplished the feat 42 years after launching its first satellite, Aryabhata, which was launched by the Soviet Union in 1975. Built by ISRO, Aryabhata remained in space for 17 years before re-entering Earth's atmosphere in 1992. Cut to present times, ISRO does not need to depend on other space agencies to launch satellites. Earlier this year, ISRO successfully launched Brazil's optical Earth observation satellite, Amazonia 1, and 18 co-passenger satellites from the Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. The satellites were carried on board the PSLV C-51. It was the 53rd flight of India's workhorse launch vehicle. The race is on to run satellites into space more optimally and sustainably.
1 0 plus 1.
Despite the trials and tribulations, India's space odyssey has been a testament to the power of the human imagination. And now, with the launch of the Indian Space Association, it stands mightier than ever as a space superpower. The country's gaze is fixed on sending humans to space. An exciting new era awaits.